Hey, so today I am going to talk about this really good animated series called Blue Eye Samurai, which was recommended, and it took me forever to watch it, but I did, that's unusual. I mean to take recommendations, but I end up not doing it. But in general, I would only actually watch something like this if I really trust the person recommending something to me, then I would be a lot more likely to give it a chance, but I still kind of sometimes. But in this case, I tried out watching it, and I will say that because my house is so chaotic and there's always so many uh, questions and problems and like everything that involves me, I can be a little ADHD kind of watching stuff. And the story in this series is very complex. I mean, to me, I think it's fairly complex. I mean, it's not like something you couldn't possibly understand the first time because, like I said, I had some like slightly scatterbrain moments, and I believe I did miss out some details, but the animation is beautiful. It's like, I don't know how to describe how it looks. It's very artistic. It's very like intense. It's very dramatic shots, and it's kind of unlike any other show, animated show I've seen as far as that level of artistry, maybe like artistry and animation. It's like it's very much that painting, living painting feeling, if you know what I mean. Sorry. So there are a lot of strong points in the show, like the characters. For one thing, um, it's kind of hard for me to talk about the characters without like mentioning the story, but the characters are. I will get to that, I guess, and it's very dramatic. The action is strong, um, and I like when the action like it's it makes you care about the characters before it tries to like force too much like stuff you might not care about if you're not invested in the character. So I think the pacing is really good. Like, uh, to me, it did start off a little slower, but um, it definitely like captured my interest, and like I said, it was very beautiful, and it really sort of layered up the story and escalated like the action in a at a good pace because it all like it finished really strong, which I think is important because sometimes a story like will lose steam and kind of finish on a weaker note, and it will leave you like kind of feeling a little disappointed because if something starts off strong and then it like finishes weak, it's not the greatest feeling. So uh, it started strong, but like I said, it was like a little slower build up, and then like near the end, it was just like so much happening. Um, so I liked that about it. It really made it satisfying to finish. Um, and so the story, like I said, I have not seen a lot of more modern animated shows that have a, a, like I guess it's nothing crazy for the story. Um, Maybe it's not as complex and great as I think it is, but I think it's pretty good. Like, there's the political intrigue aspect. There's the revenge, the story of revenge, and uh, and the story of sort of coming into your own and becoming free. And these all these characters and storylines kind of sometimes coalesce and meet up and come together, which is nice. So yeah. So like I said, with the characters, the story of revenge that I was talking about, and that feeling of otherness, impurity, not good enough, disgusting, evil, that is represented by Mizu, her storyline, where the title, the Blue Eye Samurai, uh, because she is of she's she, in the show she tells her the sword maker that she is made from mixed metal and that her impurity cannot be removed. So she sees herself as demonic and I suppose, and but she has a purpose, and her purpose is revenge, and that is, I guess, how she copes with and uses that demonic nature, and that what she perceives as a demonic nature, although you know this is from the perception of I believe it's like 1933, and white people and other people would not have been freely allowed to enter Japan. So Caucasian people would have been, I suppose, maybe in this fictional setting that seems to borrow some from, you know, probably borrows or is inspired by some actual history, but yeah, so the Japanese people would not have been used to seeing Caucasians, and because she has these blue eyes, she wears these glasses, and she has this she has a vendetta against some people, and I mean, this is gonna be like spoilery, so but yeah, I think that sums up her character. I mean, not sums it up perfectly or completely or anything, but that is my perception of her character. Although I didn't mention the sort of softer side that she has with, say, being an orphan, you know, being kind of bullied, and then meeting one of her like bullies later and winning against him, and like she does have a little bit of a soft side, uh you know, even like maybe she's like has a romantic side. It seems she has some sort of connection with Taigen, maybe. Um I'm not going to talk too much about Taigen, uh because Princess Akemi is she was, to me, she was like the more realistic uh character, between like, I if it was like Mizu is a would be a very unusual, one of a kind, uh more like the protagonist, the main character, whereas Princess Akemi is kind of like, she could be real. You know, she definitely could be real, because I think that her story is very, very relatable to a lot of women, where she is a kept princess who is sort of kept away from the world and has no opinion on what she can do, or has no say so in whom she can be with, where she will end up, and she deals with that a lot better than you could, a lot better than many people would deal with it. And but you eventually see Princess Akemi like kind of harden her heart a little bit, because she has a very soft heart. Um, but you gradually see her able to slightly, well, not slightly, but really kind of take on more of a, I don't want to say a villain role, but take some power for herself. Uh, I and her story ends at the end of the season, which apparently there's going to be another season. But she, the uh, the older man who was basically raised her and took care of her, there, it could have been nice for her to sort of go away from all of this society life. I think um, also maybe could have been very nice for her to go away with Tygon, but she sort of, I don't, she doesn't, she seems to take her own stand in the end, as if she wants to be alone, or do, to be great and be independent and free. I would assume that's from her story. That's her sort of, that was her original goal, perhaps. But maybe after seeing, her caretaker sadly pass away, and maybe she didn't have the same feelings for Tygon that she did, or maybe something about the fire and the everything that happened just made her feel like she needs to stay, and somehow uh, fight back in some way. I think that's what her sort of state of mind was there at the end. And speaking of the end, yeah, it was definitely a huge cliffhanger. Well, I mean, it wasn't like an angry, like it didn't like make annoy me being a cliffhanger, but there's definitely uh, more coming. I would and assume that from the ending that there's going to be another season, and I will be looking forward to it, because I would rate this very highly. I would say 95. I don't know. I don't like that's it's really good. And um nothing is perfect. I don't even know what the 5 points off is really for, because the slow build is probably necessary for this type of story, and maybe at times it takes itself very seriously, but it's a serious story, and there is quite a lot of lighthearted, humorous moments, particularly with like Ringo, or in that context. Anyway, that's what I thought, and have a good night. Bye.